What are the mysteries of the ancient serpent cult? Where does its slithering tracks lead? Is a world-spanning cult coiled around the globe strangling truth and democracy? How long has this conspiracy lasted? How does it involve world leaders stretching from early Egyptian pharaohs, through Adolf Hitler and right down to today to the English royal family and George W. Bush? What power groups has the serpent cult spawned? How are organizations like the CFR, Trilateral Commission, Skull and Bones and Bohemian Grove controlling society as a whole? How do spy agencies and occult groups tie into each other? Is it true our world leaders are worshipping creepy old Greek gods behind our backs? Why would they do this? Did you know that the pharaohs of Mendes, Egypt, ordered holy virgins to copulate with rams in the fields each year? Did you know they built a power serpent cult based around the coils of the ram's horns that resembled the coiled snake? Did you know that this serpent worship figured heavily in Freemasonic rituals? Did you know that the medieval Knights Templar adopted these Freemasonic rituals in the Middle East during the Crusades? Did you know when the sons of these knights returned to Europe they were tortured and their Freemasonic secrets were passed to Scotland and then London City? Did you know that the legendary Baphomet, that the Knights Templar admitted to secretly worshipping while under torture, is also identified with the Egyptian lord of Mendes, a ram soul of Osiris? Did you know that famed 20th century occultist, Aleister Crowley, adopted the symbol of the Lord Ram of Mendes and identified it as the lion serpent? Did you know Crowley had high-level contact with the men and women who controlled Adolf Hitler and his rise to power? Did you know that Aleister Crowley may have fathered Barbara Bush after her mother, Paula Roberts Pierce, the wife of Prescott Bush, became a devoted follower of his ignorant? Did you know that George H.W. Bush possibly fathered the famed serial killer, Ted Bundy? Did you know that George W. Bush's supposed grandfather, Prescott Bush, ran death camps for Adolf Hitler and helped fund the dictator's rise throughout the 30s? Did you know that the Farish family, after selling the gasoline the Japanese used in the Pearl Harbor attacks, was placed in charge of a blind trust for George H.W. Bush upon his election as president? Did you know that Adolf Hitler removed all occult opposition in Germany, a move congratulated in L. Ron Hubbard's writings? Did you know that according to Hubbard's son, his father fought over the title of Lion Serpent with Crowley's anointed successor? The series, On the Trail of the Serpent Cult, examines world-splitting truths revealed for the first time. See how we few humans are controlled by an unholy alliance of royal and elite parasites that have infested the earth for millennia. See how the pyramidal structure of hierarchy keeps us at the bottom of a heap like trolls in some Orwellian future while the rich feast. Ever wonder why you never became president? Because you never went to the right schools and, therefore, the right clubs. Therefore, you didn't attend the right secret societies like Obama, Bush and Kerry. These associations and blood ties reach back hundreds of years in some cases. Time and time again these royal creatures from the black genetic lagoon rise to control our civilization. To them we are toys. They use us up in useless wars for their bloody and insane kicks brought about by generations of inbreeding. The inbreeding of the crowned heads of Europe, from which most of the elite of today are still drawn, has given rise to many genetic defects and blood diseases such as porphyria and madness. Yet these trilateral goonies continue to rule our lives. They live off us like maniacal lunatic killers, needing more and more souls to be fed into their ravening pits. The machines of the military-industrial complexes are modern-day Molechs that consume the youth and send them home in wheelchairs after endless battles over lines in the sand. Yet we bow and scrape at their feet. In a supposed world of democracy, monarchies and two-party states continue to exist. What is worse is that these first world states continually interfere into third world states in a parasitic fashion. Our power structures dispense right-wing death squads to Central and South America while the Communist Chinese arm unstable states in Africa in exchange for raw resources the countries could well do with themselves. European butter mountains and wine lakes abound while the world starves. The ability is there, but why cure the situation when Bono and U2 can make some cheap publicity out of starving children? No sooner is the Cold War over but the Russian bear shows us that we are not out of the nuclear woods yet. Simultaneously, Red China is grasping at international choke points. The chessboard's filling up with red, but we make more profits when we blow off their heads. Meanwhile, the Pope, an ex-Hitler Youth member, is blessing ex-Nazis and homophobes as Catholic cardinals, a group of people you definitely cannot leave your kids with safely. You may well ask, what the fuck is going on? First, shamans and witch doctors had us paying up the ass again and again in Neolithic society. Then the local despot took over growing cities. Pretty soon we had monarchs and emperors on the scene controlling and taxing our crops. Feudalism ensured that the local nobles could rape our daughters by law and take the majority of our yields through tribute. The peasant could do nothing. With the invention of the machine, we had the first chance to eliminate hunger and dirt in a few generations. Instead, the elite used the machine to clear the countryside of agrarian workers and herded them into the foul, polluted cities to work in dangerous factories. Caught in the gears of machinery, people were crushed to goo for the production of modern capital. Other supposedly rival systems rose up, all centrally planned like capitalism. Socialism grew into German National Socialism, Italian Fascism and Soviet Socialism. Chinese and Khmer Communism was to follow with their own attendant genocides. Still, the proles like us stayed in the same place, at the bottom of a heap without too much to eat. Still, a tight circle of families, built upon royal bloodlines that stretched back millennia, continued to sit around our necks like demons riding us at night. The series, On the Trail of the Serpent Cult, exposes worldwide cults and secret service connections of the globalized arena of today. These stretch back to past ages when kings and emperors gathered their chief spy masters around them to ward off assassins and foreign threats. Much of it deals in new rediscoveries of the occult concerning the Bush family, L. Ron Hubbard, mind control and the Nazis, Aleister Crowley, Hitler, and the mysterious Thule Society. In the series we see who is really responsible for the miserable conditions we suffer brought about by global manipulations. It acts as a dossier upon how these forces may not be defeated now but perhaps in 1,000 years. Yet this will only happen if the thought is kept alive, just as the power elite ensure their bloodlines persist. The series, On the Trail of the Serpent Cult, wins its way through history unto today and into the future of a globalized prison camp under ultimate world government.